Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Brundi, we are still in the middle of the off season. We are in the dog days here. We have almost no new news coming through for each new episode, but we do have a couple of different signings and extensions to talk about at the start here before we go into just a little bit of off season talk. We're going to talk about who we think, at least so far, is the biggest off season winners and losers. And then we got a couple fun things to do near the end. So I guess we got, what is it, 4 or 5 different extensions. Which one do you want to start with here?
So before we go into the extensions, actually, this was something I didn't tell you about because I wanted to talk about this back at the beginning of the month, and I totally forgot about it. But we're gonna come back to it here finally because I remembered about it. So we had previously talked sometime earlier this year, and there was it was a NBA deal, but it involved, I think it was like the one that involved like a bunch of like first round picks or something. We were talking about like,
Yeah,
will
yeah.
we ever see something like that or something like that. And so at the beginning of July here, there was another trade in the NBA, and I'm going to pose the exact same question to you. Do we ever see anything like this happen in the NHL? And I probably know your answer, but hey, it's fun to talk about.
Sure.
So Kevin Durant, one of the biggest players in the league, was traded, and it was a part of a historic 7-team deal.
Whoa.
7 teams.
How many
all
teams are in
involved
the NBA?
In I think
Like
32. I think they're the same as the NHL.
Holy crap. That's damn near a quarter of the league.
All involved. Oh, they're only 30 actually. They're only 30.
Wow.
But 7 teams all involved in one deal. And so basically my question, do we ever see anything like that in the NHL at any point in time?
I definitely
7
think
teams all in one deal.
I definitely think you could. I don't think a lot of the guys currently in those positions, in the GM and the hockey op positions, I don't think they have the imagination for it. Because there's no way that this guy went and, they all collaborated to come up with this 7-team trade. It was probably the team getting Kevin Durant or one of the 2 teams getting the biggest return. And they kind of writ it out what everyone would get, gave it to everyone and said, does everyone like this? And everyone agreed. I can't imagine it was a super collaborative effort where everyone was, raising and lowering their asking price and all that. So if you get a really creative GM who's like, we need this team needs this trade works, but we need some salary retention. So this team retains salary, so we send them a pick. Well, but then that also opens up this hole. But this other team, it like keeps chaining off, and this team can help fill that hole. But then somebody's got to pay them. Well, I guess if we're getting the best player, we can throw something to them, and you just keep like chaining guys onto this deal. Like,
Yeah.
Every team needs something, and a lot of teams have that something. I could definitely see a world where, I'm just thinking of a recent trade, Josh Doan is going to Buffalo, Paterka's coming back, and then it's like, well, but we also want a draft pick to recoup, and I guess what's his name? Kesselring is a right-sided defenseman, which they already needed. But, there's definitely ways I think it could potentially happen. It would be really fun to try and come up with one that would even conceptually work.
Maybe that's what we'll try to do at some point in the offseason. Maybe we'll try to come up with like a 7-team trade that actually could make sense.
Yeah, one that like is kind of realistic in its unrealisticness. Because if the perfect one by like one GM or even an agent, because apparently agents do a lot of the bartering for GMs on behalf of their players. I could definitely see it happening as long as one person gets the ball rolling and everyone else agrees to it.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Do you know the biggest trade that's happened in the NHL for teams? Like, have we ever even seen a 4-team trade?
Um,
Surely we have, right?
I'm not sure actually.
Uh,
I'm not.
4-team.
I imagine probably like maybe a four, but
That's
uh,
probably
I
the
don't.
biggest one.
Yeah, but I don't know for sure on that. But it's something to definitely you know think about, and maybe we'll come back to it and see if maybe we could come up with one that actually can maybe make sense for, again, 7 teams involved
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
single deal.
Yeah, you got to find a lot of teams that have very specific surpluses and very specific needs. But when there's 32 teams, if you have an extra top 6 winger, there's going to be a team out there that needs exactly that, right?
Yeah.
I just tried to Google it quickly, and all the stuff that I'm getting is about 3-way deals. So,
Mm,
judged on a very surface level Google search, I'm not seeing anything about 4-team trades.
okay. So maybe the limit only is 3, and maybe we'll get up to 4 one day, and then maybe maybe that kickstarts something
4
into.
shouldn't be too hard. Like, well,
No, but
have we like even the Rantanen deal? Who was that just a 3-way deal? I guess because no, because the Avs didn't retain, did they?
no.
That one easily could have been a 4-team deal. Then
Yeah.
if they don't want to retain, all they need to do is San Jose. Here's a 4th-round pick. Retain some money,
Yeah.
and then
Retain a little
bam,
bit more. Yeah.
yeah, with double retention especially.
Yeah. We'll keep that in the back of our
Yeah,
minds. See if
we'll
we
do a
can
little bit of
we can
homework.
have anything fun with that. But we can move on to the signings. There's only 5 that happened as of recently. None super like massive because again, there's not gonna be more massive ones. But these I think are still 5 that are notable enough to mention here. As I think they do create some sort of impact for these teams involved. We'll start off with the first one here: the Chicago Blackhawks re-signed their RFA goaltender Arvid Soderblom to a 2-year, $2.750 million AAV deal. People say it's an overpay. Who cares? Chicago has so much cap space to work with, and it's a 2-year deal. So this really, um, yeah, it's an overpay, but at the same time, Chicago is allowed to easily overpay, and it's not an issue for them.
Yeah, if anything, that's one of those things that it can like who does it hurt? They're not going to be up against the cap, even if they want to go out at the deadline and retain a bunch of money. They still have just a hair under 18 million cap space. Like they are,
Yeah.
and they have one unsigned RFA to deal with. Wyatt Kaiser? I can't imagine he's getting close to double digits in the millions. So I think their cap space is fine, and that's one of those things that it just kind of carries a little goodwill with players. I think.
Hmm.
I think a lot of teams, appreciate when this type of team they'll go out and Nick Foligno in the twilight of his career. Hey, here's 4.5 mil. Jason Dickinson, here's 4.25. Like they're just kind of throwing it around, and it makes it easy to want to go there for guys, later in their careers, like a Corey Perry who went there, Pat Maroon went there, all these guys.
Hmm.
And if nothing else, he's a decent goalie. I mean, playing with the Blackhawks last year in 36 games, you can imagine his stats are pretty bad because he played for the Blackhawks for 36 games, right? And 898. That's for a 25-year-old goalie on a team that bad, that defensively bad. That is an incredibly respectable. No, I would say that's above league average play given the team he's on.
Yeah.
Like if he's on even just a bubble playoff team, let's say the Senators, if he's putting up an 898 with the Blackhawks, I bet with the Sens he puts up a 908, a 910. Like I don't
Hmm.
think that's crazy to say. So
Yeah, it's totally fine for a backup in Chicago, and they have their
only
goaltender, the
2 years
future,
of
and Spencer
term.
Knight, and Exactly. 2 years, it's not a yeah. It's
I
totally
imagine
fine.
they'll want their tandem going forward to be Spencer Knight and Arvid Soderblom, and I imagine they're probably thinking even before the deadline. Kind of like when was it, in December or November, when we saw Mackenzie Blackwood get traded? I
Mhm.
imagine they're going to want to do a deal something like that with Laurent Brossoit and try and move him.
Yeah, you actually still got him under contract, so they gotta figure out something with that. But at the end of the day, it's always better to have too much of something than not enough. So yeah, if you got to move one, that just means more assets you're probably getting back, or at least something, even if it is only a seventh round pick. You'll be able to get something back. Um,
Yeah.
Whenever they decide to make a deal. Next up, we'll just do the other goaltender deal that happened here. This one very recently here. The Buffalo Sabres signed their RFA goaltender Devin Levi to a 2-year, 812,000 AAV deal. Absolutely fantastic for Buffalo. Um, Again, there's no risk in this deal because it is such a low AAV. You're hoping Devin Levi is your goaltender of the future. And now this works out perfectly. You're not having to pay him too much. So if things go south or doesn't work out, you're not tying a bunch of cap space into uh, I don't want to say negative asset because I don't think he'll end up being a negative asset. But if he doesn't work out and he's not your long term guy in the crease, it's a very manageable contract to move if need be, or if you just got to sit
Yeah.
on it for 2 years, it doesn't hurt you at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that can kill a team trying to come out of a rebuild or a retool is not only do you not get what you thought you were going to get out of a guy, but if you overpay him on that contract and he doesn't live up to it, not only are you missing out on what you thought you would get, you often have to pay to get rid of that contract as a problem now. So
Mhm.
like, not only did you lose out on the potential gain, but also you have to like pay to get rid of it. Like that's absolutely brutal when teams have to do it. It can be such a setback, especially when you think that's going to be your goalie of the future. So
Yeah.
they are nowhere near risking that with this. Like this is an incredible signing for the team. Uh, Goalies take longer to develop, so not super worried, but they have been they have been waiting a little bit for Levi to kind of break through, and right now it still looks like he is probably going to play the majority of the next season in the AHL unless he can
I think
really
at least a backup role
push
now
up.
with Buffalo, most likely.
I think he'll get into some games and they'll see what goes on, but
Because who does Buffalo have for? I know they got UPL.
and Alex Lyon, who's making 1.5.
Mm. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if Levi's ready to make the jump and at least be a solid backup, Lion goes to the AHL. And
Yeah. It's one of those things where looking at his stats, it's hopefully he's not one of those guys that can just only play at the AHL level, because the last 2 seasons in the AHL, he's been outstanding, a 927 and a 919. But the 3 years that he's gotten to NHL action, a 905 in his first year with 7 games, then an 899. Last year, in his 9 games, he got in an 872.
yeah, but it's on a bad Buffalo team.
Yeah, but
Young goal on a
is the
bad Buffalo
Buffalo
team.
but is the Buffalo team any better than last year?
We'll see. We'll see because the next signing I think definitely helps them a lot as well. So, which we'll get into. So I got a little bit higher hopes for goaltenders playing in Buffalo. I think, and that's because the Buffalo Sabres signed defenseman Connor Timmins to a 2-year, 2.2 million AAV deal.
They don't have as
And
much of a hole on that right side as they did.
not
It was
anymore.
it was the biggest gap they had.
And like we've mentioned, numerous times throughout the offseason, they brought in Kesselring, who I think is going to be very effective for them in that top four on the right side. And now you bring in Connor Timmins, who, in my opinion, and just based on his advanced numbers analytically last year on a very bad Pittsburgh team, absolutely thrived in just a solid third pairing role. Again, right-handed, which obviously definitely helps because the right-handed market is not great for defensemen right now. And this is exactly what Buffalo needed. Whoever you put him with on that third pair, whether it's going to be a potentially a Bowen Byram, a Samuelson, Jacob Bryson, whoever, I think that definitely helps solidify your third pair more. Having a guy like Connor Timmins, who, again, if he can do what he was doing in Pittsburgh last year, will do absolutely just fine here in Buffalo. And again, that's what Buffalo needs.
Yeah.
Great defensemen, like Dahlin, Power, Byram, Samuelson, if he's still there at the start of the season, Timmins, Kesselring, and then you still got Jacob Bryson and Zach Jones. Like that's you've got good defensemen. So I
Yeah,
think the
I'm
goaltender
surprised
should
that
be in a way better
Pittsburgh
spot.
let him go, frankly. Like,
Because again, Pittsburgh's just trying to tank.
they are, aren't they?
Pittsburgh
Yeah.
knows where they're at. They know the playoffs aren't a reality for them. It's
Yeah, that's fair.
you ride it out. Maybe you move Malkin, maybe you move Letang, or maybe it's just one more year of losing with the boys and that's it for him. I think we kind of know it's Malkin's last year. We know Pittsburgh's not going to be bringing him back. So does he play there all year? Do you move him and get a nice package for him at the deadline?
I think it really
Pittsburgh's
depends
just
how he
committed to the
plays.
tank.
Like if guys like Malkin is on pace for 60 points and he looks like he's going to be a good addition, I think you kind of got to move him, get something back for that.
As long as
But
he wants, because
yeah,
obviously at the end of the day, Malkin
you would, you would only send him anywhere that he would want to go. But if he's gonna put up 35 points on the season, like not being able to drive his own line, if you're getting back around a first round pick from a playoff team or less value, at that point it's like you might as well just kind of preserve the legacy a little bit and just he'll be a one team guy at that point, unless he's like knocking down Kyle Dubas's door saying get me out of here, which I don't see him doing.
We're actually recording this episode on Malkin's 39th birthday, so
39.
He did have 50 points in 68 games last year. Again, on a
in only 68
bad team, a bad Pittsburgh team.
And everyone talks about him like he's got a foot in the grave, like he's been washed for years, right? Like these guys get to a point where they're so old, it's like you just assume surely they're bad at this point. Like they're just like still going off.
So just getting it done. But overall, for the Connor Timmins deal, I really do like that for Buffalo, and I think that definitely makes their defense much better, way better than it was last year.
Yeah. What I was just gonna ask for Buffalo, what do you think their top 6 defense looks like? Like if you had to pin guys to specific lines, if you don't have the list, I've got the guys here. Dahlin, Power, Byram, Samuelson, Timmins, and Kesselring, I assume is that top 6.
So you're probably rolling with. Again, I'm just gonna go assuming that guys like Samuelson and Byram, who have been in trade rumors for a bit now, just assuming both of them are on the team.
Yeah,
I think your first pair, you maybe go with a Dahlin and a Bowen Byram. I think that's probably maybe the safest spot to put a guy like Byram, especially the guy like Dahlin. Your second pair, you can roll with Owen Power and Kesselring, and then your third pair can be Samuelson and Timmins. Or if you want, you could swap Byram and Power, and then just roll Dahlin Power. But I'd rather split those two up and then spread it out a bit more.
It kind of, what you're getting out of Dahlin. It kind of depends how Power plays away from Dahlin. It's interesting because he's one of those guys that he kind of plays right side more often than he plays left side, despite being a left shooting defenseman.
And the thing with that though is we don't know if that's more. Well, at least I don't. Maybe some Buffalo fans do, or some people maybe have a bit better ear inside the league. Is it because he prefers to play on the right side more, or is it because for the longest time their top 4 was Dahlin, Power, Byram, and Samuelson, all left-handed defensemen? Was it kind of one of those ones where he was just forced to play over there because they had no right-handed defenseman, or is it he prefers to play on that side? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I am very curious to see how Buffalo constructs their decor here, because I think this is the best that it's looked in quite a long time.
I'll just say it. It looks like a playoff team's decor. It's a
It
good
does.
decor now.
It does.
Like
Absolutely.
that's solid. It's a little bit expensive, but I mean, you
Not
got to pay
really.
good players.
I mean, I guess a little bit, but
Well, they got an
again, I
11
don't
mil,
think
then
a
an
Bowen.
8.3, then a 6.2. Like they've got 3 guys making more than 6.25. They kind of make it back on the bottom guys, but it's not terribly expensive.
Well, and Bowen, Byron, Samuelson, one of them is going to be moved at some point.
Got to imagine it's Bowen Byram. They'll get more back for him. The Samuelson deal it's a lot of money. I don't think there's many teams going to be very actively looking for him. I think they'd take it.
Looking for a guy kind of like him. The money's not great, but there's teams that, again, if a team really wants him, they'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah, I think Byram, with the higher potential upside and the lower term on the deal, just makes him a lot more of a sexy acquisition target.
And after 2 years, he walks to free agency because he wants to be a number 1 defenseman and paid like one, and that's just never going to happen.
He is an RFA after those 2 seasons, though.
Is he? Because for me, it's shown UFA.
I am on cap wages. It says RFA.
I'm on Puckpedia. It says UFA, so I don't know.
He's 24 right now, so he'd be 26. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's got a birthday close to the date, because you have to be under 27, right? I'm not sure. Yeah, his birthday is June 13th.
Yeah, I don't know. It just says, I don't know. It's two different sites, so one's right, one's wrong.
One of them's got to be.
Couple more signings though. We can move on up north to Canada. These last 2 are in Canada. The Calgary Flames have extended forward Martin Pospisil to a 3-year, $2.5 million AAV deal. This will kick in at the beginning of next offseason, as Pospisil does have 1 year left on his contract, so they've got him now for 4 more years. I don't hate this one for a good bottom 6 kind of forechecking winger. It's not a lot of money.
I like it.
It's play a good number of last year. Played 81 games, so any injury concerns that people had, you don't have to worry about that, at least for right now. So, I think
for a guy who also in his past 2 seasons with the Flames, plus 14, plus 3, some not phenomenal Flames teams, at least ones that aren't making the playoffs. He's been a positive. Plus 14 2 years ago is pretty good. Also 24 points, 25 points. That is very solid for a 3rd or 4th line player, especially one that is known for all the hitting he does. So I definitely don't mind this. It's not too long term that you're not really risking a ton. Like if he really falls off, it can look not great, but it's just not a high enough AAV that this could possibly be like an anchor. So
I think
I'm
right there with you. I think it's a good deal for Pospisil to stick around with Calgary, and again, good deal for the Flames. You're getting your value, I think, out of $2.5 million there. The last signing here, we go to Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Jets signed their RFA defenseman Dylan Samberg to a 3-year, $5.75 million AAV deal. What do you think of this deal here?
I think 5.75 is a lot of money. This guy, where does he got his playoff numbers here? His playoff numbers don't jump out at me. I mean, he looks good. He doesn't look 5 and three quarters mil good, if I'm honest. I mean, 20 points in 60 games, 18 points in 78 games, 8 in 63. I mean, he is a defenseman.
He's a defensive defenseman though, right? Like I'm personally, for me, I'm fine with this deal. I actually would have liked it to be a bit longer. I would have liked them to try and get that 5 or 6 year deal, even if you maybe had to bump it up to like 6 mil per year, because he is so good defensively and on the penalty kill. Like that's all he needs to be for Winnipeg when you already have a Neil Pionk and a Josh Morrissey. You just need a solid second pair, stay at home defenseman who just shuts down the other team's better players and again is kind of a lockdown guy in the penalty kill.
Yeah, I'm not
You don't really
incredibly
need
familiar
much
with
more
his
from him.
game. I'm trying to bring up the Jets stats from last season because his plus minus was 34 last year, pretty damn solid. But he was also on the President's Trophy winning Jets, so I don't know if that's like second worst on the team or if he's leading the way. So so I was just looking to Jets sort by plus minus. Dylan Sandberg number 1 in plus minus. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. It's pretty damn good defensively.
He is very good defensively, and it's one of those things of like, nowadays if everybody just wants the defenseman to be dropping 50 plus points and to win in this league nowadays and whatnot, you just need those solid stay at home defensemen. That every team that's winning the cup has one or two of those guys, and
And you know
it's what you need.
He's solid defensively. Can you even call him a stay-at-home defenseman? He had 20 points in 60 games.
Not necessarily like a stay at home, but
because over 80 games, that puts him up to 9 goals, 30 points. That's pretty good out of a defenseman.
yeah.
And obviously, where he makes his money is playing on the defensive side of the puck, but like being good defensively and chipping in offense, like that's pretty damn solid. That's how you separate guys like a Ryan McDonough from the guys who put up good defensive stats and then 3 points on a season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
like for me, I like this signing again. The only thing is, from Winnipeg side, I would have maybe liked to have locked him into a 5 or 6 year deal instead, because again, if
he's
last year
26.
was kind of his breakout year, and there's a chance in those 3 years you could maybe be having to give him even more if he continues to progress the way he has. So would like it to be a bit longer, but again, right now for the team where they're at, it's a fine deal for what the team's looking for right now.
Yeah. How the hell are the freaking Jets doing this, man? My God, they have so much money. They just won the President's Trophy. They have, even after that, because Sandberg, this wasn't an extension. This was just signing him. He was an RFA. So they just signed him straight to this 3-year deal that he's currently on it now. It's not kicking in next year. And even with that, they've still got $5 million cap space.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just won the President's Trophy. They should be right up against that. They also brought in Taves and everything.
They did lose Ehlers, though.
They did lose Ehlers. That's fair.
They did lose Ehlers, which does hurt. But then you also look out, it's like you got to give, like, Kyle Connor needs an extension.
Connor's ready.
Adam Lowry needs an extension. Cole Perfetti. Jonathan Taves is going to need one if you keep him around past this year, if he's more than just a 1-year guy. Rasmus Kupari, I don't know what they're doing with him, but he's still currently an unsigned RFA. They got to figure out something with him. So
they got some guys bringing some money out. Luke Schen's coming off the books next offseason. That's almost $3 million. That even if they bring him back, he's not making that much.
More than 1 year, he's making 3.25. So money is definitely going to open up, and they're in a nice position where you're not having to scrounge for every single possible penny if you're making a deal throughout the course of the season. If you have a little bit of money, it's maybe a little bit easier to make some moves work, and maybe you can hold on to a couple extra assets because you're not having to pay for team A or team B or potentially even team C if we get a 4-team deal to retain. So I like where they're at right now, though.
If you're the GM of the Winnipeg Jets, I believe it's still Kevin Cheveldayoff.
Yeah.
what are you offering Kyle Connor for an extension?
Um,
What's your opening bid?
I think you start at the 8-year. What was his numbers last year? Let me look here quick.
He was pretty I think he had 99 points and a lot of freaking goals. Like
99, 97 points. So he's 28, going to be turning 29 in December. So I would say you start at 8 years, 10 mil, and just say, what do you think of that? Are we in the right ballpark? And you kind of go from there.
that's
And
kind of what I was thinking. Like I kind of
I
think
saw
you have
people
to.
saying like,
He has to
"Oh,
get almost 10.
fucking slap in the face!" Like you're offering a guy $80 million. We're not going to take that as a slap in the face. You just be like, "This is kind of what we're thinking. What say you? What do you think about this? Or is he going to be like, oh, I want 12 million. I'm Miko Ranton." It's like, look, I mean, you did
Yeah.
drop 17 points in 13 playoff games, so maybe you could make the argument for that. But on the flip side, hasn't hit 100 points yet in his career. Got very close, but he is a pretty he is a consistent 30 goal guy. Has had a 40 goal 7 season. Just hit 41, so it's not insane for him to be like, I want 12. So, but I would start with the 8 years, 10 mil per year, and say,
Yeah.
what do you feel? Let's get an 8-year deal while you can still get one, because it's not going to be an option soon.
And a guy at his age signing that, him getting that 8th year, that's gonna help keep the AAV down, because by the time Kyle
Mhm.
Connor is what? So he's got 1 year left on this deal that takes him to 29, 8 years. When Kyle Connor's 37, he's not going to be getting a new contract worth
Yeah, no.
10 mil, probably.
And
So
people love to bring up the thing of, oh, Winnipeg, like no one wants to play in Winnipeg. Again, like we said, Winnipeg's problem is bringing players in. They usually have a pretty good time, like good chance of keeping guys.
they
Ehlers
borderline
was
have an
kind of
easy time keeping guys. They
yeah,
have
like Ehlers
like
was the exception, but he wanted to change his scenery. Like he just
yeah,
felt like
that
for
had
him as a
nothing to
player,
do
he
with the
needed to
city.
grow.
That had to
Yeah,
do with the
just
the
personal
coaching and
preference.
just how he was used. Like
Yeah.
for a guy with that much skill, he spent a lot of his NHL time being a third line winger. Like
Mhm.
he got way less chances than he really should have,
And the thing
and
is, that
just
could be
wasn't a
the
huge
case
fit.
in Carolina still for him, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I don't think
we'll have to
so, but
see.
when you look at a lot of the young guys they got coming up and who they have in a year, he might find himself in the exact same spot there.
Yeah, um, yeah, I completely agree. I think the starting point for Connor would be around obviously 8 years and then 10 and a half, something like that. If you can lock that in, I think that's fine. I think there's a lot of Jets fans that are really hoping that they kind of almost get what Kucherov and Vasilevsky did in Tampa, where they each signed for 9.5 mil, and then everyone after it was like, "You're not allowed to ask for more than these guys. Are you insane?"
Mhm.
And Connor Hellebuck and Mark Scheifele both signed in 1 or 2 off seasons ago for 8.5 mil each for 8 years, and you know it would be real nice for Jets fans if they could go 8 years at 8.5 for Kyle Connor as well.
Mhm.
That would be a real nice bargain. But
And the thing, right? Like Kyle Connor, like we just mentioned, his best season of his career, in terms of points, assists, and plus minus, not goals, but again, still 41 goals. And it was his first full year playing with on the top line with Mark Scheifele and Gabe Vilardi. You sign 8 years, it's like, all right, you're the next 6-7 years, you're going to be playing alongside those two guys. You're still
yeah,
going to have Josh Morrissey on the back end. Your fellow countryman, in Hellebuck, who you're going to get to go to the Olympics with him. You and him are going to get to
if they
stay in
if they
Winnipeg,
take him,
and yeah, which again I think they will. People are
yeah,
um,
they
assuming
well
they won't,
should.
but they will.
It's just
Yeah.
insane that they didn't for the Four Nations. Like we
Yeah.
knew by February this year that he was one of the best American players. It's crazy that they left him off.
Well, no, he went. He was just a healthy scratch in the final.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, they scratched him.
He did go. Yeah. I think he resigns, and yeah, you start with an 8x10, and you see what him and his agent think, and you go from there.
Yeah.
But again, I think he'll stick around there. He won't leave.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think it'll get done. It's more just where's the number going to end up?
Mhm.
They would have to go out of their way to like slight him for him to want to leave, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on here to our next topic of the episode, we are going to be going over who we believe so far at this point in the offseason, who we think are the biggest winners and losers of the offseason. And the offseason is from the moment the Stanley Cup is awarded, any trades that take place post that, the draft, free agency, all of that uh, is it is what we're looking at in terms of an off season. So, how many teams did you end up do? Did you do 3-3 for winners and losers?
So that's what I was thinking we would probably come to the consensus on.
Okay.
I didn't write out a list. I've just got a
Okay.
lot of I've got a couple teams in my mind that I've got the opinions on, and then I figured we'd see which ones you came up with and work from there.
Okay. So, did you want me to start for one or the other? Did you want to start, or where? You tell me.
I'll start with one because there's quite a few ones I'm thinking of, and then there's
Okay.
one that is a no-brainer.
Okay.
So I'll just get the easy one out of the way. The biggest winner of this offseason is the Florida Panthers. They they kept all the main guys around. They kept Sam Bennett around. They kept Brad Marchand around. Like they kept Aaron Ekblad around on a cheaper deal than he was on. Like they they locked up everything that's important to them, and we know that they can win with it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like
I
I feel like we'll be
I
hard
had them
pressed to
as
find
a
a team better off season.
yeah. I did have because I have 3-3 for both sides, but I had Florida and then another team kind of in the same one in case you started off with one. So for everything you said with Florida, I'll agree. But the other one I also have that is the Carolina Hurricanes. Uh Pretty simple. They got I think the best free agent that hit the market in Nikolai Ehlers. You brought him in to definitely help beef up your winger depth, which I think kind of got exposed in the playoffs a bit. You locked in Logan Stankoven on a terrific extension that I think will definitely look like one of the better deals in the league as it continues to age. And then also Jackson Blake, where again, we kind of talked about it. We don't know if there's going to be any punishment for it. But even if there is, if he progresses the way that he has been looking, that's another deal again that I think will look great long term. So three fantastic moves by Carolina, and again, they have a bunch of draft picks still stocked up. But the reason I don't have them as my number one winner, well, actually, I did have them as 4, is because of the Keandre Miller
Keandre
trade.
Miller
I
trade.
think they kind
Yep.
of got bent over in that one, pretty good. Keandre Miller, great player, all that, but the contract they had to give him and what they paid to give him that contract, in terms of what they gave to the Rangers, did not like that one bit for them. So that's
Yeah. They
kind of why
did
I have
really
them
have
above
a
them.
lot of great moves, and then the Keandre Miller deal this
Mhm.
offseason. That's a good shout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
But
though especially that having Jackson Blake and Logan Stankoven both locked in at a combined cap hit of 11.1 mil for 9 years with the cap expected to go up is crazy. Like those are
mhm,
two guys that for the next 9 years each should both probably be in your top 6 consistently. Maybe Jackson Blake
mhm.
takes another year to be locked in there and he sometimes flexes to the third line, but damn, that's some pretty good value there.
Just means your depth's good, and that's something that Carolina kind of struggled with was their winger depth, especially in the playoffs. So that's not a bad problem to have if Carolina.
Yeah, I
Who
like
else
that
do you
pick.
have as a winner of the offseason? We'll go through all of our winners, and then we'll go through all the losers.
For other winners, honestly, it fell off a lot because I did also have Carolina on my radar. I didn't have any other teams that
I have two.
really
I have
jumped
two
out
more still.
huge.
I still have two more in my winners.
Give me one of yours, because one of mine has like I have a big reason for why, but it's kind of just the one reason, really.
So it might be the team I'm going to say here, the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, that's the one.
And it's literally straight up. You got Mitch Marner, and you only again, I really do like Nicholas player, but the fact that you're able to get Marner on an 8-year deal and on a pretty good cap hit actually for I think what he brings offensively and defensively, giving up a bottom 6 center for him all day. And the fact you're able to actually bring him in and give him that contract, it does kind of hurt that you probably don't have Pietrangelo, but I mean that's how teams win. When something hits you and it's like, man, this is a big blow to the team. You make a big move to try and compensate for that. So again, that's kind of the only reason for them is the Marner thing. But again, because it was by far the biggest move, I think you got it right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I would say. I was trying to look through their team and like, did they really make any other moves? I guess they made the deal with Nashville. I honestly hardly even remember who was a part of that deal. I think they got Colton Sissons back.
And I think Lausanne for Haig.
And Lausanne, yeah. Which honestly I do like.
I think Haig's the best player, but in terms of what Nashville got, you replace Haig on that third pair with a more physical guy, like Lausanne loves to throw the body. And again, you kind of replace Nicholas Wall with Colton Sissons. So
yeah,
you gave up the best player in the trade, but I think what you got back, I think actually works better in your favor. So
yes,
I got Vegas there as one of the winners.
Who else do you got then?
I only have one more. And in my opinion, I think this is for me. It's tough to say the biggest winner because of what Florida did, but I have the New York Islanders. Their offseason started off phenomenally, getting Matthew Darche. Spoiler: the other guy that they were looking at, that team's actually one of my losers that we'll get to. But for the Islanders, you did trade Noah Dobson, which a lot of people, will say that hurts them. And I think in the short term, absolutely. But you got Matthew Schaefer, you got the number 1 overall pick. You got your franchise defenseman now, so you didn't have quite the need for Noah Dobson. You traded Noah Dobson, and you didn't get James Higgins in the end. But I think it actually worked out better for the Islanders because they were able to get Eklund and Aitchison, who fell to them, where I thought they were going to be taken well before the Islanders' 2 back-to-back picks even came into play. You also got Heineman, who I think is going to be a very solid bottom 6 winger, especially on the penalty kill for them with that speed. And you kept Tony DeAngelo, who is great for you, and you brought in Jonathan Drouin, who has made it very known he's very excited to play for Patrick Waugh. And I think given the makeup of the Islanders forward core, I think he fits kind of perfectly in that top 6 with them. So every move they made, I've actually been quite a big fan of for them this offseason. So I got to have them as one of the clear winners.
Yeah.
Everything they did was
just
awesome, in my opinion.
And on top of some of those moves they made, obviously drafting Schaefer, but also, getting Eklund later on in the draft, and it looked like he was going to be available. Like, I think that's a phenomenal pick or value for the pick that you had. Like, I think this is one of the best off seasons that the Islanders have had in a long time.
Does it make them better for this upcoming season? Absolutely not. I fully do expect them to probably take a step further back, unless Sorokin, balls out, and then who knows with them. But they're kind of going through a retool. And this is exactly how you do it. You've now all of a sudden went from last offseason having one of the worst prospect pools to now having one of the best. You look at Schaefer, Eklund, Aitchison. You drafted Cole Eisman last year. You got Callum Ritchie from Colorado, who's going to be huge. You have your first next year, and you have Colorado's first next year. So you're already now sitting at one of the better prospect pools in the league. and you have 2 first-round picks in what is a stacked draft, and you could potentially, there's some guys on the team that they could move. You could even get another first in next year's draft, and then get another 3 first-round picks, and then you've just totally created your core for the future. And that's exactly how you do a retool on the fly. It's just phenomenal work they've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I think the turnaround there is going to be a lot faster. That is such an incredible blessing for them to have jumped all the way up to that number 1 spot, because
Totally changed the direction of that franchise.
if they just stayed at whatever they had, 9, 10,
I think
whatever,
12th or 11th.
You can only move up 10 spots.
So
I
11th.
think,
So
right?
11th they would have been.
Right. But if they stayed there, like, I don't think they trade Dobson. They don't do so many of these things. They just get another pretty good prospect, and they just keep pushing forward into the middle of the pack. And I don't think it works.
You would have had to give Dobson probably 10 mil is what he would have taken to stay with the Islanders at the end of the day.
Yeah, like,
so giving him an 8x10, like,
this turns their whole ship into a new direction, and I think it's going to end up being much better for them. The last thing you want to do is be one of the teams that they're just middling. They're middle of the pack. They never get the good draft picks, but they never win either, and they don't bottom out. Like, you got to be good or you got to be bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a perfect retool so far for them, and if Matthew Darche continues to even do somewhat close to what he's been doing so far, he's going to set this team up for long-term success for a long time.
Yeah,
a long time.
I have one other team that I think did really well this offseason, so I want to give them a shout out in the winners section, and that is the Utah Mammoth. Obviously, they made the big JJ Peterka trade with Buffalo, so they brought in a bona fide top 6, top line winger that can play alongside of Keller and Cooley or whoever else you have on that top line. I wasn't a massive fan of the deal that sent, who is it? Michael Carcone?
Michelli.
Oh, no, yeah, Matthias Michelli out to Toronto. They got a 3rd rounder back, which is fine, but I think Michelli's a bit better of a player than that. So that one's not great, but obviously they're making room for Peterka. They brought in a couple of other guys, Tanev and Nate Schmidt, Stanley Cup champion Nate Schmidt, with that I really don't mind. And then on top of that, obviously, they also moved up in the draft. So they got, as a team that was already on the rise, already making good moves, they also bring in a prospect, the likes of Caleb Denoye, which is just...
he's going to be so good.
They're not like the Islanders where this made them go down. They're already on the way up and expecting to keep going up. They're making these Peterka moves to keep getting better. And on top of that, like, at some point, Daniil Boot, T. Jaginla, Cole Beaudoin, and Caleb Denoye, those guys are eventually going to get to the point where they're getting into the NHL.
Yeah,
this could be a real sneaky good team over the next couple of seasons.
I do like the way that they're set up, for sure. That's a great pick. To wrap up the winners here, I'll throw in one honorable mention. I'll quickly just throw this out there, and then we can move on. Don't need to dive too deep into it.
Sure.
A team that I shit talk a lot on this podcast, so I felt like, hey, you know what? I actually really did like their offseason, so they're not one of the top winners for me, but I'll still give them credit, and that is the New York Rangers. Bringing in Gavrikov to, be the guy riding shotgun alongside Fox on that top pair is huge for their defense in terms of defensively, and allowing Fox to potentially get back to that Norris Trophy level play that we've seen from him. You traded Keandre Miller, and I thought you got a great return back. You got a great young right-hand defenseman and more, along with a first and a second, again, in a 2026 draft that is juiced. So I got to give a little bit of a nod to the Rangers, because, again, what they did with their defensive core, and then just stockpiling on some picks, I do like that.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great shout.
I hate that they dumped
DeAndre
Kreider
Miller,
though. I
yeah,
hated that one
yeah, that's
because he
rough.
deserved to retire a Ranger.
But man, getting a first and in a good draft and Scott Morrow for a guy that you kind of had on the way out anyway.
And you trade him
That's
to a division rival that overpaid him.
like that's some really good work there. And then
They're paying
replacing him
Miller
with
more than,
Gavrikov for
and you
less
saved
money.
money. Yeah, it's nice. I really did like that for the Rangers.
What is this Gavrikov deal? What is this? Why is he
7 by
making
7?
Yeah, but why for 7 years, why is he making 6.992857 on his
They
fucking
got
cap hit?
they're saving every penny they can.
You couldn't give this guy the extra $6,000 a season to make it an even 7 mil?
Nope.
Is that is
A
that
winners win.
is he getting like an annual dinner that's being taken out of his paycheck? Like
Yeah.
it's so close to being an even 7 mil.
Almost
What's
there.
Gavrikov's jersey number? Did he put his jersey
Ooh.
number in here?
What number does he wear?
It says here number 84, but I don't know if
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, 84. No, yeah. That's exactly it.
84. Does he have a 84 in there? There's an 85 in there. Weird.
Yeah, 84.
Penny pinching.
Now we can move on to our losers of the offseason. Do you want to start it off with throwing out a loser here for us?
I don't know if I have any huge losers. I don't think anybody made too
I've got
many
3.
like
I've got 3 big losers, and they're all from the same division. So they're all in
brutal.
the same division.
You know what? Maybe there's just a ton of stuff I'm not remembering. If you got one, absolutely hit me. A lot of the ones I'm thinking of are it's a lot of teams that just didn't do enough, just
Mhm.
indecision and then like maybe one bad deal.
Well, that's kind of my first one. The division is the Pacific Division. The
Yeah,
Edmonton Oilers.
I figured.
Um, Back-to-back trips to the Stanley Cup final. Uh, Stuart Skinner did have some great flashes, but again, the overall everything looking at it, it's tough to see a way that you win a cup with him, especially if you're going up against the likes of a Florida Panthers. And they didn't do anything to address the goaltending. And we saw John Gibson was out there. They could have made a move for him, and they chose not to. Um, you got some pieces like Savoy, and now you brought in Isaac Howard to maybe play along Draisaitl. But again, you don't really have those surefire guys to go alongside Draisaitl. You made the risk last year of Arvidsson and Skinner. It didn't quite pan out, and they kind of just said, "All right, you know what? We tried it. It didn't work. We're not going to risk it again." And I feel like that's just not the path to success. Is you get burned once and you get scared now, and you don't make moves to um improve the team. And I think a big loss as well is honestly a guy like Corey Perry, who proved to be a playoff beast for them, a great locker room guy, great leader.
And they're gonna
You
have to play
lose
him in the first
him,
round now
yeah, you're gonna have to play him in the first round.
because he's in
So
LA.
again, it's not really like they made moves. I'm like, oh, that's why they're a loser. Like some of these other teams, it's that they were too scared to do anything to the point where now it's you're basically running it back. But I think your forward core is like a little bit weaker, and I just don't think that sets them up in a great spot. They're obviously going to be a playoff team. They're
Yeah,
obviously still going to be a team you don't want to play in the playoffs because they can do some damage. But again, yeah, a team that loses in the Cup final back-to-back years, you'd kind of want to see them go a little bit more out and be like, we're like 1 or 2 pieces away from getting a cup, and instead now they're again kind of scared to pull the trigger on anything.
they man, honestly, because they did make a couple of moves, and all they needed to do was also bring back Corey Perry, and I think I just like the forward core that much more.
The Jamie Benn, Jonathan Taves contracts killed the chance for Corey Perry to come back at that point.
Yeah, kind of. And I do think the addition of Mangiapane was pretty decent. I like taking a flyer on that guy. I think there's decent potential that he ends up being pretty damn good for him. A big thing is they're freaking are these guys asking for this much money? Good God. Mangiapane could command a 3.6 on a top cup contending team with a full no trade. Like the Trent Frederick deal, a lot of people really didn't like that 8-year, just a hair under $4 million a season extension. I don't think the number is horrendous, but I don't think it's great. Why does he have a full no move clause that ends up being a modified no trade in, what is that? In 2029, it turns into a modified no trade. Like that's in 4 years. Like, is Trent Frederick that kind of guy that he can command all that stuff, the money, the term, and the trade protection? Like, if those guys don't work out for him, now they're fucked. Now there's nothing they can do about it. So, and stuff like that is kind of rough. I like the Isaac Howard ad. It's Sam O'Reilly wasn't going to do anything for you this season. Get a guy who's at least going to play some games, and who knows? Maybe the Magic Beans hit. Maybe he's great. Like, he could put up 15 points, and he's a rookie. I wouldn't be shocked. If he ends up playing with Draisaitl and puts up 60 points, I would be a little bit shocked, but I wouldn't be blown away. Because, I mean, if you're playing with Draisaitl, you just have to keep your stick on the ice half the time.
Yeah. I think it's not like they had a horrendous offseason. I would have liked to see a bit more from a team that, again, is like knocking on the door. They're right there. Yeah. So I got them as one of them.
Yep. You know what? That's fair, because their goal is not to win the conference final. It's to win the cup. And they did not. Look what Florida did, right?
Yeah.
Like, compare their offseason, compare Carolina's to this. It looks like those teams want it more, or at least are a lot smarter about how they want it. Why do you still have so many first rounders, Edmonton? Make some moves. Go do something cool, man.
Next loser. Do you have one you want to throw out now for a?
I do have one. It's a lot of what we were just talking about of indecision, and just not doing a lot. And I'm gonna go with the Detroit Red Wings.
I almost picked Detroit, but I didn't. So I'm glad you threw them in here.
Their fan base is so hungry to get back in the playoffs, and I'm looking at like their forward core. Did they add anybody other than Mason Appleton, which is a fine addition? Like, it's not great, but it's not bad.
Decent bottom six addition. You did keep Patrick Kane, which was nice. You didn't really do anything for your defensive core, and you brought in John Gibson. So, and I do like the addition of John Gibson, obviously. Yeah, but again, like, it's not like goaltending what was keeping Detroit out of the playoffs last year, because Cam Talbot was very solid for them.
I was gonna say, if anything, their goaltending was kind of propping them up, despite not having guys that you think would be able to do that. But like the goalies that were playing for them were overperforming pretty good, honestly.
It's almost like Detroit has reached to the point now where they look at it and they're like, man, we just get burned in for agency every year. And it's right away. It's not like it turns out bad. It's like right away. It's like, yeah, you guys got fucking just scammed. And I think they're at the point now where they're just sitting there like, we're just waiting until all of our prospects, all of our, berries that we've been collecting for years finally grow and turn into something. It kind of seems like that's just the position that they're in now, is just waiting for the young guys to
show up. Yeah. And, waiting for a couple of not great contracts to expire probably too. Ben Sherrod at almost $5 million is up next season. Justin Hall at 3.5 is up next season. That one's rough. Like,
getting those two off the books will be nice. Surprised they didn't just give up a second for free to move them. I mean, why not, right? Like that worked out for them before.
Jeez. They don't have a lot of bad moves, but the ones they've made are bad enough that it really sets them back.
Bad. Yeah. No, I do like having that you had Detroit on, because I think again it's one of those ones of just for a team that's very actively like, we want to get back in the playoffs, we're ready.
They've got 12.5 million cap space. What are you waiting for, brother?
Yeah.
Like, most of these UFAs are guys that are either making peanuts or you're not bringing back at all. So, like, I don't know what they're holding on to all this money for. And
I don't know what's going on there. It's tough. It's tough for Detroit. My next loser in this offseason, the Seattle Kraken. And I think it started well before the draft and free agency, starting with the firing of Dan Bylsma, bringing in what's his name? Jason Botterill as GM. I was very critical at the time. I wasn't a fan of either of those moves. And then, decent draft by Seattle. Actually, I really didn't hate their draft here.
In general, I often have really liked what they've done in the drafts. They've only been in the league for some, but I've liked a lot of the picks they've made.
And then you bring in Mason Marchment, which is a decent addition, I'd say, and you didn't have to give up too much for it, but that's kind of the only notable move to improve your team that you made, because your only other major move was bringing in Ryan Lindgren on a 4-year deal at 4.50, and I just don't quite think he's worth that based on how he just kind of continued to go downhill more and more from the Rangers, and it just wasn't good at all on Colorado. And you decide it's worth giving him 4.5 for 4 years when to have him as a fourth pair, or a third pair defenseman.
Yeah,
I just don't love it for him, and it's
a bit much. I do like them going out for him because I do think he's a guy that kind of fit in on the Rangers, but not really. And I think he fitted even less so. Yeah, and then he fitted even less so on the Avalanche. I do think this is the best system that he'll have played in for his style, assuming that they don't completely rehaul how they play because they have a new coach now. But it's still, you don't pay guys based on what you think they're going to do when it's a 27-year-old defenseman free agent, right? Like, you give him 1 year at $5 million and see what he does. If he plays good the first half of the year, you extend him. But yeah, this is a bit weird. I do like that they went out and got Matt Murray. Easy, cheap deal, 1 year, $1 million. They have Matt Murray if they need him now.
He's not going to play, though.
Well, he could.
Grubauer and Decord.
You'd rather play Matt Murray than Phil Grubauer.
But I'm on the belief that Grubauer is going to be on the NHL roster because they decided not to buy him out. They decided to hold on to him. You could have just bought him out, wiped your hands clean, and moved on. I think
there's no need to. I don't think they're going to spend to the cap regardless. So you might as well get the deal away faster than extending the buyout to 4 years.
Yeah, but Seattle's just in a position where, based on this offseason, they're just going to stay mid. They don't have a direction going forward. They were mid last year. Again, in my opinion, they might be the worst team in the Pacific after this next year. Like, I just don't like the position.
There are teams that definitely have more steam behind them to get better. But if guys,
I don't want to dog on them too much, but I just don't really like the majority of. Again, I like their draft because their drafting has been pretty solid throughout the entirety of their, since they've come into the league. But basically every other move, aside from the Marchment move, I just wasn't the biggest fan of.
I really liked the Capo Caco extension, 4.5
that
to
was
3
decent,
years.
But yeah, I think they're on to a guy that you already had.
Yeah, they're planning on guys like Caco, Beniers, Shane Wright all taking a big step this next season.
But put them in a position to succeed. They're not doing anything to actively help their players. They're keeping them in. They're trapping them on in a cardboard box and saying grow, and they're like, we don't have room to grow, and they're like, grow, and it's
It
you
would
got
have
to
been nice to see
set
them,
them in.
even if they didn't get the guy, just be in on one of the bigger names, you know?
Yeah,
Even if there was at least rumors that they were trying to get something done with Paterka, get a deal done with Nick Ehlers when he hit the market, you know, something. But yeah,
even if you have
they
to maybe overpay or something, like you got to do something to put your team on the path to see and show your players like, hey, we want to win, not just hey, we had a rough year last year, but we're just gonna stick to it and it's gonna work. And it's like, look at Detroit. It's not working, you know? And yeah, we talk about Detroit, it's like, yeah, they got burned by some moves, but at least they actively like tried. At least they were trying to do something to push the team in the right direction. Obviously, it didn't work, but again, I just don't think it instills a lot of confidence in your players when I mean, maybe a little bit because it's like we believe in you, but at the same time, it's like show your players that you want them to succeed, and the team's ready to win because they've got some good pieces, but they just need to do a little bit more to get in that right direction. Again, in a Pacific Division that is only getting better. Maybe Vancouver's a little bit on the downward go, but I think
that's not
Calgary even is
yeah,
going
that's
upward.
not gonna
San
push you down.
Jose, Anaheim, Edmonton, Vegas, because Vegas might never go through a rebuild ever. They might just stay a good team forever because of the
Yeah.
moves they're able to make. Um, so it's just a tough spot for Seattle, and more than anything, I just really don't like the coaching change in the new GM.
Yeah. Yeah, that one
That
I was not a
really put
fan
them in
of.
a bad spot right off the start.
I think they're in a position where they will get better, but considering they were a new team in the league, what, 3, 4, probably 4 years ago now? I mean, they took Gio off of the Flames. Like, that's how long ago it was, right? I think.
Yeah.
That was before Gio even went to the Leafs. So, like, yeah, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago now. And yeah, people want them to be good at some point. We've never seen this team be really good. You know, they had the one playoff run where they beat the defending Cup champs in the Avalanche in Game 7, which was awesome. But
But then it's just gone downhill ever
beyond
since.
that, yeah, there's really been nothing to write home
They've
about.
they've
And
kept
they've
taking
got some of
steps
these
back.
great they've got some of these great prospects. They've got all of their own firsts for the next 3 years. They've even got Tampa's next 2 firsts, top 10 protected. So like
Yeah.
they they're in a good spot to be a rebuilding, but like it's as a new team, it's easy to get sick of them rebuilding fast. You know, we want to
Mhm.
their identity right now is a retooling team. And that's all we've known them for, really. And that sucks.
The thing is, though, is you look at the Islanders, and it's like this is very clearly a retool. You look what Calgary's doing; it's very clearly a retool. And with Seattle, kind of because of that again that massive trade that brought you in 2 first-round picks, but you're not it's not much roster movement. You're kind of just running the same group where you kind of need to make changes on the fly. Where it's like you're bringing in guys, but you're not moving anyone out. Right,
Yeah.
and at that point, you just kinda get, like, clustered up with just too many guys, and maybe that changes this year again, Jaden Schwartz on the last year of his deal, Jordan Eberle on the last year of his deal. I think he probably stays because he is their captain, and then I'll just clown on them forever. They keep naming captains, and then they trade him, like, immediately. Marchment, last year in his deal, Tolvanen, Alexiak on the last year of his, so there could be some moves made, and if they're gonna miss the playoffs, start shipping some of these guys out and making moves on the fly type of thing.
Yeah. Get aggressive with it. Make
Yeah.
make go out there and make moves. Nobody's gonna make them for you.
But enough
Do
about
you
Seattle. Kind of ragged on them a lot
one
for.
one last thing with them.
Okay.
Do you think that do you think that they keep Grubauer in the NHL next season, or do you think
I do. Yeah.
if he has the whole season, or do you
Yeah.
think he starts there? If he's bad, they move him because they did bring in Matt Murray. Surely they aren't thinking for
I
the
don't think you
betterment
can.
of the
I don't
AHL.
think you can trade Grubauer though. I don't. I did like it's
No, no,
just
no, no.
unless
Just
you're
just putting him in the AHL. Just
no,
putting him in the AHL.
because I don't. They've constantly had a good um AHL team, And again, the system that Dan Balsma created. So I don't know why you fired him. It just doesn't make sense to put Grubauer down there and take away spots from others. I think Matt Murray's better suited to, if there's an injury, he can come up. But if not, just down. And again, I know Matt Murray cups, but everything's gone downhill since then. I think Matt Murray's better suited to be down the AHL.
Matt Murray's a better NHL goalie than Grubauer.
I mean, yeah, but the contracts, and I think Matt Murray's better suited to just collect a paycheck down in the AHL. He can definitely teach their younger goalies, I think, a lot more than Grubauer can. And so, and again, it's one of those things where I feel like if Grubauer is down there, you kind of feel forced to have to play him because he's making so much.
No.
Yeah, that's the way teams work. You don't just take a 5.9 and be like, we're just going to bury it and not play you at all.
That's the best thing for their team, though. If they were good businessmen,
but they're not going to be good anyways. That's why I'm saying he's going to be in the NHL. Seattle's not good. I like Seattle a lot. I wish they were good, but they're not. So,
where did they finish in the standings last year?
Well, they got jumped by 2 teams and they picked 8, so 6 worst, I think. If math is mathing.
They had Hockey DB. We're going to a different website to check that. Holy, that's not how you lay that out.
I think 6 last in the league.
Because I'm wondering how far. Because I know for a while it looked like they were still in the playoff hunt. And I want to know how many points out they were, because honestly, if they had a different backup, they might have been a playoff team last year.
They were out by 20 points.
It was 20? Okay. I definitely thought it was closer to 6 or 8 or something. But honestly, that's still 10 wins. Grubauer was horrendous. This guy, they would be so justified in scratching him all season in the AHL. This guy, look at these games. I'm looking at his game logs now. An 880, a 913, a respectable 913, an 840, 893, 843, a 909, which is fine, an 839, a 913. That's decent. A 731. That one's against the Sharks, by the way. He let in 7 goals against the Sharks on 26 shots against. Man, in the month of December, he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, and he had 3 of them above 900. The other 4 were all below an 870. Just unusable. In January, he was at 827 average over all of his games.
That's why I'm saying they should have just bought him out.
But that screws your team for the future. Why the buyout?
It doesn't, though. But it does.
That's so much money for so many years.
Is San Jose screwed for the future because they're retaining on Hurdle?
No, because that's
5 more years.
1.4,
is Chicago screwed because they're retaining on Seth Jones for however many years? Because what's Grubauer's buyout here?
I feel like everyone is saying they have to buy out Grubauer.
So Grubauer, if you buy him out, it's 1.98 this year. It'd be $3 million next year, and then it goes down to 1.68 and then 1.68.
How the hell is that the number? Maybe I just don't know how buyouts freaking work, man.
I don't fully understand buyouts. I know that buyouts is however many years they have left, it's double that. But in terms of how much they get paid, I don't understand.
I thought it was
just use a buyout calculator.
Okay, yeah, because I'm looking at the buyout calculator, and yeah, it's what you said. I thought it was you pay them half the amount of their cap hit for double the time.
See, that's what I always thought too, yeah. But then I realized,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, why would you pay him? Because then his buyout would have been 2.95 mil for 4 years. But in actuality, it's less than 2 for the 4 years, except for 1 year where it's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that that buyout is better than I thought it would be. It would appear.
I really just do think their plan with Grubauer is to try to get his numbers serviceable enough that you can maybe move, even if you retain half.
And you know what? It would be beautiful for him because the goalie market is horrendous right now.
The moment you send him down to the HL and keep him down there, it's that's just it. You're stuck with it. Where I think
Yeah,
their plan is to try to just move on from him and try and get something back, even though I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's and Matt Murray's put up good numbers in the AHL. And again, I think Matt Murray's just better suited to teach
I
these
don't
I don't know
disagree on
exactly
that.
Seattle's goaltending prospects, but they've had a good enough AHL team for the last few years that they got some guys in the pipeline. So, but
Yeah,
again, overall, it's just kind of like it's not crazy about what they're doing right now, but they do have a good prospect pool. So
yeah. Just like look at those numbers. It's just
it's
insane.
it's not good.
A
That's again just
250 save
not good.
percentage against Detroit. He had 1 save on 4 shots. Yeah, his goals against average was 29.
Yeah,
Jesus
that was
Christ.
a tough night for him.
That game is sandwiched by 2 different outings of a 773 and a 737. Oh
Um,
man. None of those are against good teams either, by the way. Those 3 that I just mentioned, Anaheim, Detroit, Columbus.
mhm.
Like, dude. How did this
But
guy he was a Vezina finalist. I don't know if he should have been, but he was.
yeah.
That's
For the
crazy.
sake of time, though, we should
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
keep
don't have to
trucking
dunk on him
forward
forever.
here. Do you have any other loose ends? I only have one more because I just put up a list of.
Uh yeah, I've got like 4 or 5 that are just kind of all tied for not doing a lot, not making the moves they needed to. So not really. I don't have any more that are jumping out at me as obvious ones.
Okay. I'll quickly throw out my last one here. My last one is the team that got the GM that the Islanders were looking at, the LA Kings. Um, wasn't biggest fan of bringing in Ken Holland. Um, I do like that they were able to keep Kuzmenko, Corey Perry bringing him in. I mean, sure. Again, I don't think it changes the future of this team because again, he is 40. Cody Ceci, like a 4-year deal at 4.5. I don't love that. Brian Dumoulin, I don't love that at 4 mil for 3 years. You basically you lost Gavrikov, and now you're just trying to just sign anyone who's out there, and I don't think that puts you on a path to succeed. You traded Jordan Spence for pennies, and it's Kopitar's last year, and I just don't feel like the Kings improved at all. If anything, I feel like they maybe kind of took a step back, honestly, and
It kind of feels like that.
it's not going to help you against an Edmonton or a Vegas, who again are both going to be wagons come playoff time. So again, it's just when things were starting to look right for the Kings, more than anything, it was kind of the moves on side that just I didn't really love for them. They
You know
kind of
what?
just
I really like that
scrambled
pick.
after losing Gavrikov.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, they moved to Spence and they got hardly anything back. It's yeah, they signed Dumoulin to a long term, or I guess they did trade for him technically.
Nope, they just signed him. They just
Well, it
grabbed him
says
off free agency.
okay. I kind of thought so. It says trade for how they acquired him, but I wasn't there. But 30, yeah, at 33, 4 mil a season, like it doesn't scream awesome for the future. You got Doughty is only going to keep aging. Kopitar potentially his last season. You got him on a banger of a contract at 7 mil for this season too. So like, you kind of want to capitalize on that. They haven't extended a lot of their main guys either. Like, I guess Kuzmenko they give 1 more year, but Kempe they could give an extension to, and they haven't yet. Alex Laferriere is a unsigned RFA right now, so he doesn't even have a deal to play next season yet. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think if anything, they took a little bit of a step back, and as soon as Kopitar is done, you're taking a huge step back, unless Quentin
Yeah.
Byfield explodes, which he has the potential to do. But
And even then, though, like if Byfield does explode, now who's taking his spot? You got to have
they
his replacement now. Like you might have Kopitar's replacement, but you need Byfield replacement.
I think this is one of the situations where they I think they need to blow it up a little more than people think and not tear it down to the studs, but I think trade some of the slightly older, bigger names that you have and just try and get back as many younger guys as possible. Not enough of a rebuild that they're getting a bunch of draft picks, but get prospects that are already drafted that you like.
Look at what, yeah, like kind of like what St. Louis did almost.
Yes, exactly like St. Louis. Like
Like
move
that's
out
they had a
guys like
picture perfect retool.
yeah, like move out a Philip Deneau. Somebody will take him, especially if you retain on the 2 years he has left. I don't know if Kopitar's a guy they would move if that's one they just want to ride
Yeah,
out.
I think
I
I
think
think
that's
it's just
fair.
Kopitar and Doughty retire there, and honestly, that's fine.
You won 2 cups with them. No arguments about that.
Yeah, they
Um,
want to ride off into the sunset there. You let them. They
Kevin
run that
Fiala's
thing.
got a pretty good contract for 4 more years. Somebody would love to have that. He's 29. If you're looking to get good again in 2 or 3 years, he's 32, 33. You could keep him if you want, or you could just move him and get some good assets back. Like, yeah, I think
They've got options at least, which does help.
they've always been just like one tier above that middling team that can't quite do much, but they're still getting the result of those teams.
Yeah.
So them not getting noticeably better.
And the
It
scary
hurts.
part again is kind of what I mentioned. You've got Ken Holland at the wheel there, and is he the guy to pull that off? I don't think so.
No, sir.
But that was my last lose. That is our of the off season. If anything changes, if any more big moves happen throughout it, maybe we'll come back and maybe revisit these and see if anything has changed at some point later down the road.
Yeah,
Moving
maybe
on
maybe
to
the McDavid extension comes in and Edmonton goes from the loser category to the winner category.
yeah,
Like
depending on what the deal looks like, yeah, it's possible.
whatever it ends
That
up
could change
being,
everything.
that could be huge.
It could change everything for him. Moving on to our second last segment. You had something here that I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what we're calling the segment, but you have something here for us.
So I've got two different things. This first one will be much quicker than the second. Um, I don't even know if we would want to call this trivia, but I've got a stat here, and I just wanted to get a guess from you on what the second number would be before I reveal it, because I was surprised to read this, but after a bit of thought, it kind of makes some sense. Um, so there have been 109 Stanley Cups awarded in the history of the NHL. How many of those Stanley Cups do you think have been awarded as part of a back-to-back sequence?
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
thinking recently, the Avalanche, the Golden Knights, those don't count.
Yeah. Out of
But
how many?
109.
109. Okay. So I'll try and be quick with this. I can immediately think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
None of
15,
the none of the
16,
Blackhawk ones count because those were all separated by a season.
20. In the entirety, though. I'm going to go 32.
The
Thinking
answer
earlier
is
years.
47 out of the
47.
109, which,
I even still wanted to go a little bit higher, but I was like,
yeah, it
it's so
feels
tough to think about
crazy
like the
high, right?
earlier days. Yeah.
Like
But when
47
you
out
think
of
about it
109
doesn't
is
though.
it's pretty close. It's pretty damn close to half of the cups, but this does also include the original 6 era, which
That's what I was trying to think of for how many.
I imagine a lot of them are from, the Boston dynasties, the Canadiens dynasties, the Red Wings. So there's a lot of that, but still 47 out of 109 that's got to be around 45% of them.
Yeah, because I was because I knew like Florida has it now. I knew Tampa did. I knew Pittsburgh did. Detroit did. I know they did in the late 90s. Pittsburgh had the 2 in the early 90s. I knew Edmonton had a couple right before, and then it was the Islanders who had a
Islanders had
couple
4.
there. Montreal had a couple there, and I knew Philly right before then. And then I knew Montreal and Toronto, but then it was like after that, it's like I know there's a
now
big
you're
run of
just
Montreal
guessing.
ones, but then and then prior to that, you get into that
The Vancouver
mid
millionaires.
1950s. From there, it's kind of like just trying to think of like a number that you could go within. Yeah. Damn, I knew it was high, but I didn't think it was that high.
That was kind of my
surprise me.
thought.
That does
That's
surprise me a
mostly
bit.
why I wanted to bring it up, because it was
Oh, it's a good one.
shockingly high.
No, I like that. That was the first of your 2 things.
Yes, that was the much more professional and well thought out one of these things. The second one, for those who didn't listen to the end of our last episode, Brundi brought up I think was it a top 10 list or something of
top 10, yeah,
of players with a list that he made on Chat GPT, and so I wanted to try and bring one of my own to this episode. And this one, I think you can guess quite a few of them. And so what I had it spit out here is the top 10 NHL players you would want to shower with as one of the boys in brackets.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
And
boy.
It gave like write-ups for each player too. It's pretty funny. It's very good. But I do think you can get some of these.
Holy fuck. Do I even want to throw out any though?
Oh, probably not.
Do I even want to be like throwing out guesses? Is it only active players?
There is 2 retired players and one. There's 3 retired players and 1 LTIR retired.
Oh boy. All right.
But these are there's 10 of them. There's quite a few guys here you could probably pick up.
All right. I don't love that I have to guess on this, but we'll see here.
Who's your first
and
guess
what was
for the top 10 NHL players you'd want to shower with, and then in brackets as one of the boys?
As one of the boys. Let's just start off with the homie, with the man himself. Let's start off with Joe Thornton.
Number 2, Joe Thornton. Brackets, retired but not spiritually present.
Okay, so it's a good start. It's a good start. It's probably
body
the easiest layup.
Body confidence at 110%, probably slaps you on the back yelling hell of a game. No shame, no towel, absolute icon.
That's very accurate, actually.
Yeah, they know who they're talking about.
Chat GPT seemed to have a little bit of a hard on for this guy, so they're Brady Tkachuk.
No. Brady Tkachuk.
Probably for the best. Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews. I wasn't sure if you'd guess that. Number 7.
I'm
drippy on and off the ice.
Would throw on that list.
Some of the shit they say on here is fucking unhinged. Drippy on and off the ice. Very, very cool older cousin vibes. What does that mean in the context of showering?
Who else here?
I think ChatGPT was abused. What the hell?
Let's throw out Sidney Crosby. Why not?
No Sid the Kid.
No Sid the Kid. How many were retired? 2 or 3?
I believe 3.
All right, so we got Jumbo there. Alex Ovechkin.
No Ovechkin.
No Ovi. No shower beers with Ovi. All right.
Damn. I feel like a lot of these guys would love a shower beer.
For retired, I'm just trying to think of retired guys. Like how long ago did they retire?
All pretty recently.
Pretty recently. So your boy Pat Maroon.
No Pat Maroon, but I definitely would have had him on my list.
Who? Henrik Lundqvist. He's a bit ago, but I don't know. I feel like maybe
no Lundqvist. Both retired guys left are defensemen.
Defenseman. Who's a defenseman that's retired recently?
I believe he just got nominated for the Hall of Fame. I think.
It's no way. Chara.
Number 6, Zdeno Chara.
What the fuck, man? Why?
Massive but quiet. You feel like a child next to him, but safe.
Oh.
I don't know why that's reasoning for him being here, but
PK Subban?
Number 5, PK Subban.
Oh, okay.
High energy, probably blasting music from a waterproof speaker. Pure charisma for hyping up the boys.
Fuck. So what I got? I've got 4 so far.
You got Matthews, Thornton, Chara, Subban.
You
said one of these guys' brother earlier.
Is Matthew Tkachuk on there?
Number 8, Matthew Tkachuk, the guy who somehow starts a water fight every time. You'll be wet, laughing, and a little confused. Dude,
okay, a little bit uncomfortable with that.
ChatGPT's got some issues, man.
Let's roll with... I don't know.
I think pretty much everyone who's left is older, except for one. One's LTIR retired. One's in the twilight of his career. One's very in the twilight of his career. And, the other one's kind of like pseudo-retired at this point. I don't think... He does have a contract. Actually, I think he is retired. I think he is retired.
I'll throw out a couple more. Matt Duchene. I don't know. I keep guessing him for, but Matt Duchene.
No Matt Duchene.
I'm gonna guess him one day on something.
That would be a really funny one for him to just be on the list.
William Nylander.
No Nylander.
The
LTIR retired guy is a goalie.
Guys.
It's a goalie, though.
Well, no, he's not LTIR. He's just retired.
Nah, he's just old. Although he could have easily been on the list, frankly.
LTIR goalie? Fucking goalie's on LTIR.
Guy who hasn't played in about 4 years. Still collecting a huge paycheck.
Ben Bishop?
No.
Robin Leonard?
Much more expensive than those guys.
What? Fucking expensive goalie that's...
One of the only ones that's made more than 10 mil a season.
I feel like my brain's just not working. I can't even think. What, 10 mil for a goal that's on LTIR?
Yeah, 10.5 even. But you can't trade him, or else the city would burn to the ground. He's
David
been out
Ayers? I can't think of a goal.
He's been out long enough that it's hard to fully remember it.
But a goalie making... Oh, Carey Price.
Carey Price. Number 9.
Yeah, I said fucking David Ayers before Carey Price. Fuck. That's... Wow. What number is Carey Price on the list?
Number 9.
Number 9. Have I got number 1 yet?
You have not.
But how have I not got number 1? Is number
Yeah,
one
I
still
thought
currently
I
playing?
thought number 1 and number 2 would be your first and second guess. But
Well, I got
number
Jumbo was
1
two,
is a
right?
guy. Yeah, Jumbo's number
Okay.
2. Number 1 is I think retired at this point. I was thinking he's kind of like pseudo retired, but I think he is retired at this point.
That doesn't help me much. Brian Little.
No Little.
I felt like maybe they would have made just like a little joke or something.
He is his first part on here says King of Dad Bods.
Yeah, Jumbo.
Oh yeah.
Jumbo Joe Thornton.
I would say
King
this
of
guy's more of
Dad
a king of the
Bods.
dad bod than Joe Thornton. I feel like Joe Thornton keeps himself in pretty good shape.
A retired guy though. Oh, I
Recently.
don't even know. It's just a big boy that's retired.
I want to
Duncan Keith?
No Keith. I want to say like some of the stuff it's written about him, but all of it will give it away.
Give out like just a little bit of it.
Probably tells the best stories mid shampoo.
Yeah, see, that doesn't even help.
I know a lot of guys around the league can do a very good impression of this player.
Oh. Scott Foster.
It is not Scott Foster.
Are you sure?
No, he's not number 1.
Oh fuck. Those hints probably should help me, but like when you're trying to think across players, no, because you got to be like thinking somewhat in the realm of that player.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, that guy.
I think this guy gets into the Hall of Fame. I think it's definitely a debate. I think
Patrick
a lot
Marleau. No, he's not a dad bod.
No.
King of dad bods.
Like full on dad bod, not like
I said Pat
guy.
Maroon.
Yeah. I think Pat Maroon's
Okay.
about the closest guess you can make for this guy without getting it.
You gotta give me another hint.
Similar energy.
I'm just trying to get the number 1 now. That's all I care about. One more small hint.
One more
I'm gonna snipe it.
One more small hint. Trying
just
to think.
A baby hint.
He played for several teams. I'm trying to count how many in my head. 1, 2, 3. At least 4 teams.
How long ago did he retire though?
2, 3 seasons? I don't think he's even eligible for the Hall yet.
What position?
Winger.
Okay, so I was kind of I was trying to think it's just like, okay, yeah, winger. If they had a dad bod.
He kind of got signed as a free agent. He's in Vegas now.
Oh. It's Phil.
It's Daddy
the poker
Phil.
Man. Really? Number 1.
Number 1.
What, just hot dogs everywhere? And
yeah, king of dad bods, eats hot dogs, wins cups. You'd never feel insecure around Phil.
It's just one of the boys. He just makes everybody feel at home. Oh,
the like tagline.
Thinking of him.
The like tagline for this entire thing is just purely for the vibes, no eye contact, unless you're Phil Kessel.
Yeah. So who else was on the list? Because I ended up getting the list.
You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
Oh, okay.
Ones you missed. Number 3, Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, wasn't even a thought.
Maybe brings a beer into the shower. Safe but spicy vibes. Don't know what that means. Nasty. Number 4, I thought you were gonna get Brent Burns.
Oh, Burnsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe should add that one.
Too much respect for him. Respect for the man. And then you got all of those guys. You got all of them, and then it was just number 10. This is wrong. this is a bad one. There's some other ones that didn't really fit. This one's not good. Connor Bedard.
Oh yeah, wouldn't even. Yeah, wouldn't have. Yeah.
Rookie energy, too polite to make it weird. Would awkwardly shuffle to the far shower head and whisper "good game" like he's in church. what, what the fuck?
Holy fuck! Yeah, would not have.
A lot of these
gotten that
write-ups
one.
are fucking insane. Like that's
would
that's
not
a
have
lot.
would not have gotten.
No, nobody would guess him.
No.
If I didn't give you hints, I don't think really anybody would have ever guessed Carey Price either.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
Like, guys like Burns, Thornton, Kessel, Subban, you can kind of guess that. But yeah, a couple of those are out there.
That was good though. I'll take 70%. It's just another math test there for me.
C's
get wrap degrees. It up here with our final segment here, Braden. This is one you are. You're on a little bit of a losing streak. You've lost your last 5, but at the same time, you have been going for a new PB, and we're going back to guess the player. For those who are unfamiliar with this game, it's your first time around. Pretty straight and simple. I pick a random current active player from around the league, and Braden just can ask me yes or no questions to try and narrow it down to who the player is, and he only gets one guess at the player, so if he guesses wrong, he does lose. His current best is 8, so you asked 7 questions, and then you got it with your 8th one. You just got to try and figure it out. You got to go for 7 today. You want to get a new PB, or you could just play it safe and just get the player right and get a W on the board. Totally up to you, but whenever you're ready, you may begin.
All right. So I know the last time we played this, I kind of threw the idea out there, and I think I want to go for it. I think that I need to not spend so many guesses going for the team, and I have no idea if this will work out like at all. But I'm going to try and figure it out without going for the team, at least early, and see if I can narrow it down through just different lines of questioning.
Okay. I like it. I like the approach.
Do you want to give me my government mandated hint on 1 to 10 how easy you think this one is to guess?
Like a 7.
7, okay. So probably higher up in the lineup. It's probably not a fourth, or it would be a high profile third line guy probably if it was that. It's probably not the backup goalie. All right. First things first. What do we want to start with? I think I want to start with age. I think that is a good way to cut out. You can cut out damn near half of the league. So I'm going to say, is this player 27 years old or younger?
No.
Okay, so they're 28 or older. I could go to something else, or I could try and really dial in the age, which could help. I might do one more guess on that.
Totally up to you. However you want to attack this.
Is this player 31 years old or older?
No, they are not.
Okay, so they're either older. So they are 28, 29, or 30 years old. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's where you're at right now.
Just going to write that down, 28, 29, 30. Is this player a forward?
They are a forward. They are a forward.
So we got a 29, 28, or 30-year-old forward. That is 3 guesses down.
You're halfway there if you're going for the record. Halfway.
Now here's one that takes a little bit of a risk, but if I hit on it, it'll be very helpful. Is this player Canadian?
They are not
Oh,
Canadian.
not Canadian.
What are you thinking here? 4 questions in. Not a Canadian. It's a forward. 28 years old, 29 years old, or 30 years. That's where you currently sit.
I'm thinking I might want to try and figure out the general whereabouts of their cap hit.
Okay.
Because if I get that, if I know it's, a certain number, the age, they're not Canadian, and that they're a forward, now I can start really going through them. What number do I want to start with? Is this player's cap hit $6.5 million or more?
6.5 million or more? Yes, it is.
Interesting. I kind of thought it was going to
It is
be
above a 6.5.
less. So above 6.5. That, I mean, there's still a lot of guys in that range, but it makes it possible. How many am I at?
You're at 5 so far. So
I have one
set
more.
a new PB. You got one more question, and then you got to try and guess the player.
Making more than 6.5, forward, 28, 29, 30.
Yeah. Bit of a tricky spot you got yourself in here, but
it's like
the 6th question is very important, I feel like.
Yeah. There's a lot of players that those narrow out.
Yeah.
Like there really is, but it's you got to run through your mind palace and try and figure them out. I'm thinking,
I feel like you got to do something to narrow down the contract a bit more, or the country this player is from.
Where's Brock Besser from?
Brock Besser is an American.
He's an American. He's a forward. He's 28. He's making money. Like something like him, he could fit the bill. He's given 7 out of 10. Do I want to get a little bit of help and narrow down the team a bit, like just get a conference, or do I want to fully go for the contract or the country of origin? I feel like I can't go for the country because if I'm going country, I would either be guessing, are they from the US or are they from Sweden? And if I don't get it, then it makes it pretty tough. I've only got the one left. I kind of am assuming they're probably American, but I guess 6.5 or more. So maybe I could go higher and guess another bit on that.
Could do. However you want to approach it.
Does this player make 8 million? I don't want to include those players. Does this player make 8,499,000 or less?
Sorry, repeat that again.
Like 8,409,999.
Do they make less?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm glad I did that because that all getting that info cuts out all the guys making 8.5 because I feel like there's quite a few of those.
Yeah. There's quite a few guys around the league making nice round 8.5. So you're at that time now where you must decide to just keep narrowing it down to get the player you're gonna send it on a guy.
You know I want to send it. Between it, so they're 28, 29, or 30 years old. They are a forward. They are not Canadian. They are making more than 6.5 million on their current contract, but they are making less than 8.49 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot of info.
That's all correct.
Even just having that age range, I feel like counts out so many guys in there. I didn't even think about guys if they might have an extension or something, but I don't know about that. I'm not going to think about that. Thinking a guy like a Pavel Buchnevich, a Brock Besser. Who else is in that age range? Lindholm.
Guys.
Like it's hard when you don't have the team, but like,
yeah, you don't have anything about the team.
I'm trying a different approach. I haven't been able to get it in quite a few goes, so
yeah, I don't hate it switching up, seeing if something sparks.
And all I know is they are not Canadian.
Yeah, not Canadian. You're just gonna have to throw it a guess and hope
I'm gonna have to throw out a guess. I'm gonna try and use a tiny bit of context clues in the fact that, I mean, maybe I just said it weird, but I said 8.49, and you had to ask me to repeat it. So I'm thinking maybe it's a guy hovering around that 8.4 something range. So with that in mind, I am going to lock in a guess on from the Dallas Stars, Rupe Hintz, a 28-year-old. I believe he's Finnish. He's a center / right winger. He's making 8.45. He kind of seems like a 7 out of 10 to me. Rupe Hintz.
Final answer, locking it in?
Final answer.
You did a very good job picking up on the context clue of me asking you to repeat it. Being around the 8.49. I thought you were going to go with Brock Besser, your first kind of thought of the player that you were thinking. It was not Brock Besser.
It was not.
You also threw out Pavel Buchnevich, though. It wasn't Buchnevich.
Oh, come on.
Braden, you have officially set a new PB. It was Rupe Hintz.
Yes.
It was Rupe Hintz.
He's a detective.
Holy shit, what a guess. You had no idea what the team was. You knew
that is so hard not knowing the team.
You got it though. You perfectly got it. That was very, very well done.
Hell yeah, let's go.
I thought you were screwed when you said, you were thinking like asking should it be an American or Swedish, and I was like, well,
those are the only two teams I could have gone for. Like it just feels like playing the numbers. Like they probably have the most. Like I feel like I would have had to ask, are they American? But if you ask any country and get a no, they're not that again, it's like,
yeah,
that doesn't give you enough for your final hint.
So on Thursday, March 13th, your birthday, actually, you set your record with 8 when you guessed Alex DeBrincat of the Detroit Red Wings. Today, though, on Thursday, July 31st, you have set a new personal best with Rupe Hintz with a score of 7. Well done, sir. Very, very well done.
Thank you.
That was a very weird approach you took to get there. I wasn't loving it, but results speak for themselves.
So if it was a guy with a cap hit of like 5 mil or like 4 or something, like I don't think that would have worked. Like trying to guess those guys would be impossible, but like up in the 8.5 mil, you're into some elite guys. Like you can think of the specific names, right?
Yeah.
If I didn't go 8.49, I think I would have got it wrong. I think I would have ended up guessing Philip Forsberg if I said 8.5, because then he would have been included
It
in
was
there.
very good picking up in the context because I was looking, I was like, I want to make sure you were hovering right around his cap. So like, I got to make sure. And
that's
I went with the
kind of my thought, and then I was
of...
like, he's the only guy in that age range I could really think of. That
Well, and I went with the 7
other
out of 10
criteria.
because just on the premise of it at the start, you look at Dallas. There's, if I just say, hey, pick a player from the Dallas Stars, Rupe Hintz probably isn't the first because you got guys like Heiskanen, Harley, Otten, Rantanen, Robertson, like even Duchesne if you're me and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, he's first line center, but he's probably like the 5th or 6th guy you probably guess if you just had to guess any player on that team. So
yeah, he's weirdly like he's like a top guy on one of the top teams, but somehow isn't one of the first guys you think of on that team.
yeah, they got so many top guys. No,
That
was
kind of
very
like
well done.
Point for a few years with Tampa. He's the top line center, but people talk about Tampa, they think of Kuch, Vasi, Hedman, probably Stamkos more so.
Stamkos,
a lot of the time.
Pat Maroon, Corey Perry,
Yeah,
all the boys there. No, that was very well done. You absolutely smashed that. Congratulations on a new PB, but that means next time now you got to go for 6.
That's gonna be tough, and
I
think I lucked out with the getting the age and the cap hit. Kind of one of my guesses near the middle, putting it one way and then guessing a bit higher, and it was lower on both of those. So I kind of dialed in a good zone for both.
You did very well.
If you just say like lower for both of the cap hits, then it's like, oh, now what?
Yeah. No, you did great there. But that is it for this episode. We hope you all enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed a couple of our different segments we did here. Again, we're trying to keep things going on the fly, just coming up with new different ideas for the. We're like halfway through the off season now. We've only got August. We've still got a couple ideas that we've come up with that we're going to get to in August. August is a lot more dead than July usually, so we got lots of fun stuff planned there. But if there's anything you want to see in the upcoming episodes, or if you just want to talk hockey, or let us know if you agree or disagree with our thoughts, you can do so through any of our socials. The links to all of them, as always, in the description across all episodes, across all platforms. Braden, as always, to wrap this one up, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I got a new PB. I don't know if I'll be able to break it, but if you guys have any thoughts on who you think are some of the top 10 NHL players that you think would be a fun time to hang out with in the shower, let us know on any of our socials. Who do you think's got the most shower riz?
It's good. We would love to know. We would love to hear that. But that is it for this episode.
And why is it not Connor Bedard?
Yeah, it wasn't even a thought for me to pick.
Jesus Christ.
But that is it. Once again, hope you all enjoyed. And as always, we will see all of you beautiful, lovely, amazing people out on the ice next week.